Hi drummers, hope you're well. Quick video for you here about double stroke roll and how to get faster. People always say to me, I'm stuck on doubles, I'm struggling with my doubles, how do I get faster? Well, short answer is, you practice it, but you've got to practice it in the right way as well. So double stroke roll, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Two main techniques I'd say for playing this. When you're playing sort of slow up to like moderate speed, you play every hit with a wrist movement. So right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. As we get faster, our wrists get to the point where they can't really keep up anymore. You get to sort of flat out with your wrists. And at that point, we can start to use a bounce double stroke. It looks something like this. So utilising the bounce here, throw the stick down. I would say as your stick strikes the drum, release your fingers at the back, man. Let that stick bounce up. And then, if you can, for the second note, I'd say use those fingers which open to snap the stick back up. Now, can you see here, I'm getting two notes for one wrist movement, man. But. You seeing that? Wrist, fingers. Key point is that the stick bounces, man. You let it bounce when it strikes the drum. You seeing this? Now, I would say one of the great ways of practicing double stroke is to just do some individual bounce doubles like that. Get a real feel for that movement, man. Get that into your system, like burn that into your nervous system, because what you're going to need is, at speed, for that to really happen automatically, honestly. Of course, this all takes time, but this is a brilliant thing to do. Open, close, open, close. Now, in terms of building it up, what I would say is the all-time classic way is just use your metronome. We're going to go slow here, and we're going to just build it up little bit by little bit. We're going to see if we can find the point where wrist movements with doubles become more of a bounce double. And we're going to play 16th notes here. We'll play 4 notes per beat, 16th notes. Here we go. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. This is 60 BPM. Now, it depends where you're at with your drumming. Hopefully here, this isn't too challenging. But it could be, man. So it totally depends where you're at. So I'm playing 1 E and a 2 E and a right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Okay, and I'm going to go up 10 beats per minute to 70, 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so far so good. Wrists all the way for me here. We're at 80 BPM, 3 and 4 and. I would say stay on each of these speeds for at least a minute. I'm whizzing through it here, of course, but for at least a minute, ideally a couple of minutes, till it's really smooth, really flowing. If you're feeling totally comfortable, just edge it up. I'm going 10 beats per minute at a time here, but you could do 5 beats per minute. You do whatever you like. This is going to be 90 BPM. Oh. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So nice and smooth. I'm just using wrists here. All right, here comes 100 BPM. 2, 3, 4. Now for me at this point, 16th notes at 100 BPM, just starting to feel the stick bouncing in my hand a little bit. I'm not making a huge movement with my fingers or anything like that. Just starting to just sense that stick bouncing in my hand ever so slightly. So kind of at a transition point here between wrists and, you know, a bounce double. Kind of doing a little bit of both. Quite a tricky stage, I think, when you're practicing. If I go just wrists, I can actually keep that going. But it feels a little smoother with just that little bit of bounce in there. Just that sense of my stick just starting to bounce in my hand a little bit. Let's go 110. 2, 3, 4. So even more bounce here. All right, that was feeling a bit more bouncy. 120. So at this point, yeah, it's really starting to feel, I'm starting to feel that bounce, that open, close of my fingers. Remember the idea here, a little recap, open, close, open, close. Throwing that stick down with your wrist for the first note, let it bounce, fingers for the second, man. You see some guys practicing this with the stick flying way up to here and all that business, that's fine as well. As long as the stick's bouncing, I tend to think of it as about, like, when you're up to about 45 degrees with the stick bouncing up, that's the point where your fingers would snap it back down. Okay, that's what it looks like. Here we go, 130. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4. So very bouncy at this point. Okay, 140, here it comes. Full on bounce doubles at this point, I reckon. 2, 3, 4. Something you hear people say like double strokes a lot is when you're practicing them, you know, slowly and individually, to go for that second note of the two to be a bit louder than the first. I think that's a great way to think, especially when you're practicing these bounce doubles, because if you can really dig that second note out, as you pick up speed, your roll, the idea is as you pick up speed, your roll will become even. That louder second note will sort of come down as you get faster. There isn't time to make it much louder. And you end up with a nice, smooth, even roll, as opposed to, you know, you hear drummers going, where the wrist movement is really clear in the roll. Obviously the idea with the doubles most of the time is for it to be really, really smooth. So when you're practicing them separately, yeah, by all means, get the second note nice and loud. 150, here we go. Cool, 160, well into the bounces here. $170. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, totally don't worry if you're not at this point. That's absolutely fine. Remember, when you're doing this sort of metronome thing of starting off at a really steady speed and building up the speed, what you're looking to do is find that golden improvement zone, looking for that zone where you can just about do it, but it's a bit of a stretch. Now, wherever you're at with your drumming, that's what you're looking for. If you reach that zone and you're basically, you are playing all the notes and it resembles a double stroke roll and it's in time broadly and you're just about doing, but you're starting to feel that tension, that you're starting to feel that it's a bit of a challenge, you're in the sweet spot. Like, live in that zone. That's the zone where that's what improving feels like, man. That feeling of like, oh, it's a bit of a stretch. Now, for one drummer, where they're at, it might be the 60 BPM thing for 16th notes, it might be 40 BPM, it might be 100, it might be, I'm on 180 here, it might be whatever, man. But that zone where you're just about doing it, but it's a bit of a stretch, that's what we're looking for. That's the point of this exercise, is just get to that point. And as you keep doing this, as you repeat, you know, practicing your double strokes, that zone where you can just about do it, but it's a bit of a stretch, it'll just get faster and faster. Here we go, 180. And onward, 190, still bounce doubles. Now, I think it's fair to say as you get faster and faster, there probably is a point where even the idea of using your fingers to help out the second note, there isn't even time to do that. So as it gets much, much quicker, there is a point where it's a pure rebound, I guess. We're not there yet though. Still getting fingers very much involved here. Remember, wrist, then fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 200, this is 210. Now for me here, at this point, I'm starting to feel like the fingers thing is kind of getting a bit like it's not really helping, and there isn't really time to actually do that for me. Yeah, so remember, these are 16th notes at 210. So here, I'm starting to think this is more of a straight rebound without the fingers actively helping it. key thing here, keep loose, easier than done, keep loose. I'm in my improvement zone here, I think, in terms of just pure speed. 210, 220, this is 220, here we go. Yeah, so I'm starting to feel pretty tense there as time's passing. First few seconds is okay, but I'm starting to feel a bit tense as it goes along. Just for fun, I'll go a bit quicker. Yeah, at that point there, 230. I can't really sustain that very long and make it sound very nice. So that's the idea. Eventually, of course, as you get faster and faster with your doubles, I mean, there is a point with these sort of rebounded ones, as you get super quick, there's a point where it sort of basically just becomes a buzz roll, isn't there? There's a point where it just transitions into a buzz roll, where it's no longer discernible that the two little notes sort of gets to this point. You're just playing a buzz roll at that point, you know. So quick recap, you start off slow, wrist movement for each stroke. You get up to that point where the bounce double starts to come in. One last recap on that, man, because this is the most misunderstood thing, I think, possibly all of these lessons that I've taught here over these years. But this is the thing that gets misunderstood the most. Open, close. You seeing that? Open, close. Throw your wrist down. Let the stick bounce. Fingers for that second note. But. You get into that territory. And then even when you get faster and faster, that gets to the point where even that won't keep up. So pretty much just giving the stick a bit of a squeeze and a straight rebound as you get quicker and quicker, I guess. Yeah, man. And then eventually that just becomes a buzz roll. But that metronome thing is absolutely huge, because what we're doing there is we're being systematic about it. We're not just trying to play fast doubles and going, oh, this is hard. We're actually doing it in a sensible way. So we're going at speed, play 16th notes with the click. We tend to start in these sessions at like 50 or 60 beats per minute. 16th notes, even with the click, go up 5 or 10 beats per minute at a time. Search for that point, that improvement zone, where you can just about still play it, but it's a bit of a stretch. You start to feel that tension coming in. That's the point where you need to stay, man. Stay in that zone. Now, the best thing about this sort of practice is, of course, you can do it anywhere. You can do it on a practice pad. You can do it on a book, on a tabletop, anything where the sticks bounce back. I practice on my shoe a lot. Get your shoe-dements in. And the thing about being a working musician like me is, like, it's 85, 90% sitting around, man. Like, show business is mostly sitting around. And you realise there's loads of times where you can just get this sort of practice in. I'm always going on about head, heart and hands in these lessons, right? You need your musical heart firing, you need your head, you need to understand music theory, but you need your hands to work as well. And this sort of stuff, I can't stress this enough, you can totally work on this away from your drum kit. People say to me, oh, Mike, I couldn't do any practice this week because I was away from my kit. And that's absolutely nonsense, man. You need these things and a practice pad or even a tabletop, man. That's all you need to do. So can't stress this enough. Get your hands working. For me, that's how you get fast double strokes or pretty much anything. Start off at the speed where you can do it comfortably, push it up bit by bit, find that improvement zone where you can just about do it, but it's a bit of a stretch, and live in that zone. I hope that all makes a bit of sense. That's my perspective on double strokes. And see you soon. Thanks a million.